Gift me 10 minutes, less than 10 minutes of your life, and I'll arm you with real tools that will actually boost your confidence. No fluff, no fake it till you make it hype. I'm talking real shifts that you can start using today. Because here's the truth. Confidence doesn't come from waiting until you feel ready. Confidence comes from action, from movement. Even when your heart's racing and your brain is saying, no, no, no. I've sold over $10 billion in product on live television. I've led teams through chaos. I've walked into boardrooms where I did not feel welcome, and I've rebuilt my life after losing everything. And not one time, not once did I ever feel 100% ready. You know, I think back to my first big live broadcast. I was mic'd up, lights were hot, the camera was counting down. I thought I was gonna throw up from that migration of butterflies swarming in my belly. I gotta tell you, my hands were shaking so badly that I had to hold the product with two hands so that the viewers wouldn't notice. And the only thing that was louder than the producer giving me updates in my ear was my internal voice saying, "You're not ready. You're not enough. What were you thinking? You're about to fail right here in front of everybody." But even though I felt like I was walking through molasses or quicksand, I walked forward, one foot in front of the other. I delivered that pitch, and we sold hundreds of thousands of dollars. Not because I was confident, but because I was willing to show up anyway. You know, that moment didn't erase my fear, but it did rewrite my story, and it was the story I was telling myself. I didn't feel confident, but I did the thing anyway, and that made me trust myself. So here's what hit me later. So many women are stuck waiting for the moment that they feel brave. And I hate to break it to you, but that moment, it never comes first. Bravery is often the result, not the starting place. Now, a few years later, I found myself starting over. Single mom, new business, new life. I felt like I had nothing figured out. But I knew this: if I could just keep showing up, even when I felt unsure, eventually that confidence would catch up. At that point, I wasn't focused on reinvention. I was focused on survival. But looking back, that was the most powerful season of my life because every little thing I did, every bill I paid, every client I pitched, every room I walked into alone, it wasn't just doing that thing or going through the motions. It was soul proof, proof that I was becoming the woman that I could count on. So here's how I built real confidence, and it's how I still do because I gotta tell you, life is always throwing curveballs. I track my wins. Now, if you've read my book, seen me on stage, or watched my videos, you know I love my journaling. So when I say I track my wins, I mean all of them, just like I plan my micro moves. So not just one big one or one little one, it's all of the little ones. That's the key. Paid the bills? Check. Spoke up? Check. Showed up? Check. Wrote all my things down? Check and check. And I didn't stop there. I would literally make lists so that I could see all the check marks at the end of the day. I started doing those small things that made me feel more aligned with my intentions. I put my brain in training for winning. It's my purposed path, if you will. Now, you may have heard me call them my micro moves, but they're really your life reps because that's what they are. Repetitions, soul proof. Proof you can train your brain to believe in you. So let me share a few examples of what I'm talking about. Every morning I want you to get fully dressed. No yoga pants or sock buns, even if no one's gonna see you. Why? You're training your brain, I'm someone who shows up. Or make your bed before checking your phone. This is gonna start your day by keeping a simple promise to yourself. Once again, training your brain that you follow through. I want you to walk into a room intentionally. That means head high, not immediately reaching for your phone or looking at your feet. I want you to let people feel your presence, even if you're still learning how to carry it. Now, this one may take some time. I want you to say no without explaining yourself. Not because you're rude, but because you're allowed. And no can and should be a full and complete sentence. All right, next up, finish the thing that you've been avoiding. You know, the email, the chore, the call. Completion builds confidence. And if you've had a hard time with this one, put that task first on your to-do list so the day doesn't get away from you and you get it out of the way. All right, move your body, even for 10 minutes. Not just to burn calories, but to shift your energy. Get those creative juices flowing. park further away, take a lap around the block when you check the mail. You get the idea. Speak your mind, even if it's just once a day. I want you to say exactly what you think, even if it's about where you want to go to dinner, and then stop talking. Next up, record yourself talking for 60 seconds. Not to post, just to hear your own authority. Now, every smartphone out there has a voice recorder. Practice this one and then listen back. Is this the tone, the pitch that I want to project to the world? Ask yourself that. Delete one account that makes you question your worth. Confidence grows when comparison gets quieter. You know, we've become an overconnected society, and it's not always good. I'm sure you've heard the Theodore Roosevelt quote, "Comparison is the thief of joy." And it really is. All right, keep the smallest promise you made to yourself this morning. That's how trust is built. This can be as simple as I'm gonna walk around the block when I check the mail, or I'm not gonna snack after dinner. It's those little ones, and I'm not talking about the life-changing promises yet. We're gonna start with the small promises to yourself that you can keep to build that trust, and then we'll go into the big ones. And by the way, none of these are about being perfect. They're about stacking soul proof for you, for your brain, for your soul. Confidence isn't found, it's practiced. It's built one rep, one micro move at a time. So here's my challenge to you today. I want you to think about what you've been circling over and over in your brain. You know what I'm talking about, the thing that hijacks your sleep at night, keeps you distracted during the day. Do you got it? The conversation, the post, the leap, the change? All right, now picture this. You're not waiting to feel ready. You're not trying to get rid of the fear. You're gonna pick it up, put it in your pocket, out of sight, and walk into that moment anyway. That is how it starts. That's how it always starts. It's not starting with confidence. It's starting with movement anyway. Remember, micro moves lead to massive change. I believe in you. We can do this together. I'll see you next week.